Hey everyone, it's Kevin Sully with another race breakdown, and this week we're going to be looking at Jakob Ingebrigtsen's indoor 1500 meter world record. Was there really any other choice? And I'm getting a bit of deja vu doing this because the first race breakdown that we did in this whole series was looking at Jakob's 1500 meter race in Lievin in 2021, where he broke the European record. That also was a debut, just like this one, although he ran even faster this time. So let's get into the race. You see the camera pan through the start list. And as I mentioned before, this was a debut for Jakob. And he went back to a familiar location in Lievin where he had had success before. And I think everybody thought this was going to be a world record attempt just on the basis of how fast he ran last year. See a big tumble early on in this race. Luckily for Jakob, he was not involved with that. He's already up here in position behind the two rabbits. We also have a new addition to this year. We have this handy-dandy pace projection on the bottom left of the screen, which certainly helped when just judging whether or not Jakob was on track to beat it. So you see the two rabbits out there in front. And early on, this looked pretty similar to last year's race, except just a tick or so faster. When they go through 400 here, it's going to be in 55.64. In 2021, that split was 55.84, and it was a bit quick for them in 2021 because the requested pace was about 56. But this year, there were no qualms about the pace because everybody knew what Jakob was all about. You see the pace light technology there on the ground. The blue is for the pacers. The green is for the rest of the field. But right now, Jakob's just doing an excellent job tucking in and following. Let's take a look at the all-time list. Now, just ignore this one on top because he hasn't run it yet. But Samuel Tefera, who's in this race, actually ran faster than Jakob did in 2019, 3:31.04. Here's Jakob's 3:31.80 from Lievin last year. Let's go back to the race. And not much has changed. We have Jakob in third place behind the two pacers, Tefera behind him. But you look at those times and you understand why people thought it was beatable. Not just because he ran the 3:31 last year, but if the mark is only 3:31, he's run 3:28 outdoors. He's more accomplished than Tefera on the international scene now that he has a global medal in the Olympic 1500. It makes sense that he would be able to get this one. Now, doing it outdoors, another question, which we'll talk about at the end. But indoors, certainly this was available to get broken. 152.19. So their lead continues to grow on last year. Last year was 153.7. So 152.19 to 153.7. First pacer steps off. And now it's Eric Sawinski time, who's been doing a spectacular job pacing this season, developing into one of the best rabbits on the circuit, probably the best rabbit right now on the middle distance side of things. And he takes them through another half lap. So they get up to 500 to go with the two rabbits. Okay, let's stop it there. We had that 1,000-meter split, 2:20. Let's go back a little bit here. They show the 1,000-meter split on the screen. Corrected down. So 2:20.90 in 2021, 2:22.35. So they're well ahead of projected pace. And credit to the pacemakers who got them through on schedule. Sawinski was able to get all the way through to 500 to go. You look at the projection. Ingebrigtsen right there, 3:31. Tefera, 3:32, even though they're right next to each other. This looks like it's going to be a world record race because we know how good Jakob is at closing out these races. And having Tefera on his shoulder probably helped a little bit, just having someone breathing down his neck. There are 2 laps to go. That was a 28.4 on that split. So we're seeing him do his typical Jakob move here where he winds it up. I mean, the pace starts quick, but now he's getting it going. He's ultimately going to close sub 28 here. Tefera reeling a bit, having trouble hanging on. The slightest gap starting to emerge. And now it's really tough for Tefera to come back. So now it's clearly just Jakob versus the clock. Takes the bell. That's a 27.98 on that lap. And again, he's going to close quick here. He closed quick in 2021, but this is also going to be a fast close off of a faster pace. 100 meters to go. The race is no longer in doubt. It's just all about can he get that world record. And he is going to smash it. So 3:31.04, the time to beat. He comes through 3:30.6 That last 200, see at the corner there, 27.54. 27.54 on the close. I talked about it on the last breakdown about how the 2021 race really foreshadowed the success that Ingebrigtsen would have outdoors. And part of that was because these 1,500-meter races at the championship level are just getting faster and faster. So these 330s and 331s don't happen in isolation. You can actually run that type of race and win. Chariot's done it. Ingebrigtsen did it last year. We see more and more 1,500-meter runners pushing the pace, coming off of an era where most things in championship races were tactical. So there was a bit of a disconnect between what we would see in a race like this versus what we would see in a championship. That's not the case anymore. So Jakob gets his record, gets a bunch of flowers, and even more hugs. So we'll look over at the all-time list. So 330.61, leapfrogs to Farah. More importantly, leapfrogs Garouge and Haile Gebrselassie. Kajelka sandwiched in there, but before Ingebrigtsen was sitting at number 5 behind those legends, and now he moves to the top of the list. What does it mean time-wise? Well, you could look at this a couple different ways. You could say, all right, well, when he ran 330.81, he went on and run 328. Now this year, 330.6. Is he going to be able to run a full second faster outdoors? I'm not sure. It's tough because this is a debut, so it's tough to sort out how much rust is involved. I tend to think, based on last year's result, and also just based on the fact that Ingebrigtsen, they're a three-headed monster. So they have all sorts of data in terms of what sort of shape they're in when, and I think he knows, and he's able to get into race-ready shape without having to run a race. Now, would he be ready for rounds right now? That's a different story, but certainly something in his training indicated that he was capable of doing this. So I hasten to make too many predictions about Jakob. I think at the bare minimum, he can meet what he did last year, 328. Can he get down to threaten the 1,500-meter outdoor record, 326 of El Garouge? That's going to be tough. That's going to take the right type of race, obviously the right type of pacing. We know how quick these indoor tracks are as well, too. They talked about this track being the indoor version of Monaco. So we don't know. But what is for sure, Ingebrigtsen finally has a world record. I say finally, even though he is still so young. But we've been talking about him, feels like, for half a decade now, or even more. And he has a gold medal and a world record to his name, setting up for a very exciting 1,500-meter season outdoors as well. So that's it for this edition of the Race Breakdown. Stay tuned to FloTrack for more recaps, breakdown, analysis, and insight. We'll talk to you guys next time.